What's up, guys? Welcome to Whisky. I'm Jeff. This is a channel where I offer my thoughts and opinions on a specific whiskey, and every once in a while throw in other whiskey-related content. Today, I've got a really big video for you guys. I'm doing my end-of-year wrap-ups, and today it's the big one. I'm going to give you my Whiskey of the Year for 2023. Stick around. Okay, so this is it. It's the Whiskey of the Year, and this is always a pretty tough video for me to make just because, of course, I want something that's widely available, absolutely delicious, fairly priced, all that stuff, but I also want something people aren't expecting. Of course, I do always have the choice. I could go for a safer option or something that's a little bit more predictable and mainstream, so I could go for something like this or this or this. And listen, those are all great whiskeys. I don't want to discredit their quality, but again, I want to give you something unexpected. And really, there's no logical reason why I couldn't go for a more predictable or, let's say, safer choice, but it's always a little bit more fun to be surprised. And really, no matter what you choose, when you pick a whiskey of the year, you're always going to have some backlash, some dislikes, some people out there telling you you've lost your mind. And maybe I have. Anyway, yeah, our whiskey of the year this year is something that you can find. It's not too expensive and it's not overly popular, so it is a whiskey that I feel deserves more attention. And we're doing something a little bit different this year because this will be the first year that I give you guys a peated whiskey for my whiskey of the year. Back in 2021, I gave you the Craigellachie 13. In 2022, it was the Classic Laddie. So for 2023, we're going in a different direction. Now, I could drag this out a little bit longer, but I know you guys are waiting for the big reveal, so let's not waste any more time. My whiskey of the year for 2023 is Lagavulin 8. Now, this is a whiskey I reviewed earlier this year, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think I picked up my first bottle maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and right out the gate, I was thoroughly impressed. I do not think this gets the attention it deserves. Now, before I get into any details about this one, let me tell you who should not buy this one. You should not buy this one if you're looking for a replacement for your Lagavulin 16. Now, while of course some of the peaty and distillate-driven flavors that we get in the 16 do make appearances in the 8 as well, this is a simpler and cleaner whiskey. It's also spicier, it's younger. It's gonna be too young for some. But speaking for myself, I like young whiskey. I really like young whiskey when it's well done. Now, of course, there are plenty of ways that younger whiskeys can go wrong. They can be hot, sharp, papery, and just generally off-putting at their worst. But when they're at their best, our flavors can be more vivid. They can be more vibrant. Oftentimes, our flavors are bolder and more in your face, and that's what we're getting here, and I like that. Oppositely, with older whiskeys, like the 16 for example, you're getting more subtlety, you're getting more nuance, sophistication, etc. And that might be what you're looking for. Personally, I like living in a world where we have access to both. I absolutely love the 16 as well, but I'll tell you what, especially these days, it is nice to be able to enjoy a younger whiskey, especially because like older whiskeys, aged whiskeys, expensive as fuck. Anyway, aside from the age difference, this being half the age of the 16, if you're not familiar with math, another difference that we have here is that the 16 is sherried. We do not have a sherried touch in the 8-year-old. This one was matured in refill bourbon casks, so it's a much more like stripped back version of Lagavulin. Usually when we have things like sherry casks or wine casks in the mix, that's going to give us more layers, more complexity, and this is not the most complex whiskey out there, but it doesn't need to be. Whiskey doesn't need to be complex. It needs to be good. And Lagavulin, I mean, say what you will about like the owners and the prices of some of their bottles, but Lagavulin is a beautiful distillate, and that is showcased in this whiskey. So yeah, this one really good, and again, very different from the 16. It's not just different from the 16, it's different from like a good number of very popular peated whiskeys out there. Like if you look at something like Port Charlotte 10, for example, super popular whiskey, very good whiskey. That one's got some wine casks in the mix. And not only that, it's a totally different style of peat. And once again, our Lagavulin 8 here would not be able to match the complexity that we see in something like the Port Charlotte 10. Lagavulin 8 is what I like to call a bare bones style of whiskey, meaning there's no sherry cask, no wine casks, no cask acrobatics going on here. This is just characterful, flavorful, and well done. Like this is one of my favorite bare bones peated whiskeys. And controversial opinion here, but I actually like this more than some of the more recent 12-year-old cask strength expressions that have been coming out from the Diageo special releases line. Those ones are super popular. Everyone seems to love them. I actually like this one a little bit more. So, hot take. Now, moving on to the elephant in the room. This is going to be sticky territory for some because my whiskey of the year is indeed a Diageo product. And Diageo and their practices are not always loved by the whiskey community. However, this one, unlike so many of their releases, does actually give us a lot of the things that single malt enthusiasts look for in a whiskey. Take, for example, the Lagavulin 16. That one is colored, it's chill filtered, and it comes in at 43%. So many of their whiskeys are going to be like 40%, 43%. This one comes in at a generous 48%. If it is colored, and I don't think it is, then it's very minimal. Any whiskey over 46% does not need to be chill filtered, although they might still do it. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt there. So there's a chance this is a fully craft presented whiskey. Of course, Diageo doesn't like sharing that kind of information, which is unfortunate, but at the very least, we do have the 48%, and for me, that's the big one. And listen, despite having a few releases like this, the vast majority of Diageo products are not going to be craft presented, and I understand why so many people, scold Diageo because of the color, the chill filtration, the low ABVs. But here's the thing about that. They don't care. Like, in the time it takes for you to write a comment under one of my videos saying that you're boycotting Diageo, they just sold an entire truckload of Johnny Walker. Now, I'm not saying don't boycott them. If you don't like them and you don't like their business practices, then don't buy them, of course. Personally, I'm not the boycott type, and Diageo, for all its faults, in my opinion, has some of the world's best distilleries, Lagavulin being one of them, and I don't want to never drink them. Which is why I figured I'd try the carrot and not the stick. Instead of screaming at them for what they're doing wrong, I figured I would celebrate what they're getting right. They gave us a great peaty whiskey with a boatload of character and a solid ABV. It might even be fully craft presented. Now that's really cool, so if anyone out there at Diageo is listening, please give us more products like this. No one's listening. Anyway, kind of got sidestepped there, so let's get back on track. What is our whiskey like? I haven't even described this stuff yet. This whiskey is smoky. It's coastal. It's clean. It's vibrant. It's straightforward. It's intense. This is a beautiful showcase for a beautiful distillate. Personally, I actually like this more than a lot of very popular peaty whiskeys that are out there today. I like this more than stuff like Ardbeg 5 or 10. I like it more than Ledgig 10, and yeah, I would say I even like it more than the Port Charlotte 10. And that's not a knock on those whiskeys. Those are all great whiskeys, but I really love this stuff. So really, I can't think of a better candidate for my Whiskey of the Year. So there we go. G Whiskey, Whiskey of the Year 2023, Lagavulin 8. Enjoy. All right, so Whiskey of the Year 2023, Lagavulin 8. It will be a controversial one, but of course, I still want to hear what you guys think. So if you agree, awesome. If you disagree, hopefully you do it respectfully. Or you can just fucking yell at me. I don't care. Either way, let me know your thoughts on this one. I'm looking forward to reading them down below. And I guess that's it for today, guys. So thank you very much for watching. If you want to help out the channel, I do have the Patreon. Otherwise, you can like, comment, subscribe. Always appreciate it. I'm looking forward to reading your thoughts on the Lagavulin 8. Also, if you want to share with me what your Whiskey of the Year was, let me know down below. And finally, down below, you can also tell me what kind of reviews or video concepts that you'd like to see me do on the channel in the future, and I'll keep those in mind. Bye, guys.